on those GDP numbers, economists are warning that if another contraction in GDP is announced during the fourth quarter, the country will enter its third recession of President Cyril Ramaphosa's presidency. To talk about this, I'm joined tonight by the Black Business Council CEO, Kganki Matabane. Mr. Matabane, very good evening to you. Welcome to the program. So, a 1.5% overall drop in GDP in the third quarter, better or worse than your expectations?
Evening, Tembigli and the viewers. The figures are worse than we expected. Especially, remember they are moving from a very, very low base. So that is a base that is far less than the base that was there before COVID. So what it tells us is that the economic recovery is not happening. The plan that was announced by the president is not taking shape, and I think most of the time is because of the various lockdown levels that we've been experiencing, because that on its own creates an uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And then from our sectors, we've seen a lot of small businesses have basically closed down completely. So they are not going to come back. If you look, for example, the restaurants, there are so many restaurants that closed down, and they closed down for good. They are not going to be revived. So it tells us that we don't need any more lockdown. We cannot affect the country, and the economy cannot afford it. So whatever happens with the virus, we should try by all means to avoid any more lockdowns. Otherwise, a lot of more small businesses are going to close down. And that then tells you the unemployment rate is going to go up. So the 74% youth unemployment or 10 million young people who are unemployed, the numbers can only go up because you need entrepreneurs to create jobs for people. It's not government that is going to create jobs. It will be entrepreneurs who will have to create the jobs.
You say, Mr. Matabane, that the economy at this point cannot afford further lockdowns. Young people would sink further into unemployment. But when you look at the pandemic, young people in the country at the moment are the least vaccinated age group. COVID-19 infections are going up. They're also the most impacted by these new infections. So how do you get them to realize how much is riding on the success of the COVID-19 public health response?
Yes, I think as a country, what we should do, we should be basically putting all our efforts in getting the young people to get vaccinated. Because we've seen vaccine works, we've seen all over the world vaccine works, and that is the most effective way of dealing with the pandemic rather than closing the economy. Because closing the economy is what was basically at the beginning, it was necessary because it was getting the country to be ready. But so far, we must be ready. We can't be at the same level as 2019. So the most effective and efficient way that will avoid closing the economy is vaccination. So all our efforts as a country, we should put them there to say, let's get everyone to be vaccinated. The more people vaccinated, the better for the economy to remain open.
Mm-hmm. And this report by Stats today also reminds us of the real-life impact, the real-life cost of July's unrest in KZN and Gauteng. Heavily worst impacted, I should say, were the wholesale, retail, and motor trade sectors. Can we, at this point, as business people, are you able to trust that the security cluster, government as a whole, has put enough measures in place to make sure that business in this country and the economy does not find itself in a similar precarious situation down the line for whatever reason next time?
Yeah, to be honest, so far we cannot, with confidence, say we feel safe. You've seen last week in KZN, the entry was closed again, which means there's no anticipation because these things, they get planned. The purpose or the objective of the security cluster should be to foresee these things before they happen and disrupt them before they happen. But when you have situations like what happened last week, it sort of gives you or reminds you of what happens in July. So far, I think there has not been any demonstration by the security cluster that they are able to deal with these things proactively.
What are the areas of opportunity for the South African economy currently?
Yeah, the first one is that the money that we are giving away for grants. It's good that we are giving money for grants, but we should be taking half of that money and supporting and funding entrepreneurs. Because as I said, entrepreneurs are the ones who are going to create jobs. So if we can take half of that and create and fund entrepreneurs will then be able to create those jobs, and then we'll be able to grow the economy. But if you keep on taking all the money and then giving it out for grants, we're creating a society that is dependent on state, instead of creating entrepreneurs there who will be able to depend on themselves, but they will assist the state in relieving the state of unemployment, because they'll then employ other people who are on the streets. The second thing that we've been raising with government, and we've raised it with the president, is that we need to pay, government needs to pay small businesses on time, because what is happening, even earlier today I was speaking to one of the members who's a small business owner. They don't get paid on time, then they owe SARS, and then they cannot do business with anyone, because then they won't have the tax clearance certificate.
We were actually, Mr. Matabane, sorry to butt in there, we were just having the same conversation with the Public Service Commission, which was saying, just looking at what's owed to suppliers in Gauteng, the Northwest and the Eastern Cape, that alone amounts to the billions, according to them, from their third quarter assessment, right? You've got that factor where entrepreneurs who do business with the state aren't being paid on time. You've got a private sector that is trying to hold on to as much money as possible in a depressed economy. Who then do entrepreneurs sell their goods and services to? That's the challenge that we're having, and we've engaged the private sector companies. They promised that they will do that payment on time. We've engaged government, but there hasn't been any movement from a government point of view, as you have seen the reports that has been produced by the Public Service Commission, that there are so many billions that are owed to small businesses. And again, once you are owed money, you can't do business with the state, because you won't have a tax clearance certificate. So what do? You close shop, and then the people that you have employed, what happens to them? You have to fire all of them. And that's the situation that we're trying to avoid. Mr. Kganki Matabane, grateful for your time. Always good to speak to you, sir. Thank you for your time. He is a CEO of the Black Business